Let's go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 51st edition of Crimson Tide Live, all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football and simulcast on Florida State at the Voice of College Football, all right here on the Voice of College Football Network. From yours truly, Jackson Johnson, my partner in crime, Coach Smoke Hines.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports is not here tonight because he was called by a work shift. But no worries, though. You'll see him back on Thursday night. Let me tell you something. You'll be in for a wild ride.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, how's it going?
How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on, AAA family that's checking in? I see y'all on the other side. Roll Tide. What's going on, Voice of College Football family? And welcome in our guest. What's good, Matthew? How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Look, finally get to meet you. We look. The first time we meet is on screen, and we got to talk about this game we got coming up. Let's do it, man. Let's get into it tonight, man. Jackson. But before we get into it, Voice of College Football family, Coach Smook Network, all the Twitter space family, make sure you all take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime. We're talking about the Voice of College Football merch store. Alabama Voice of College Football merch is full launch, full go. We have the link in the chat. Go click that link. It's the fourth wall link. Go check this merch out, man. You all know Coach Smook Network. We've done our thing, but I guarantee you, if I don't see enough of this out by the end of the season, I know something. The way that this network is growing, the way that this channel is growing, I can't wait to see some of y'all take advantage. We got mugs, we got polos, we got long sleeve shirts, we got the caps, we got the trucker caps. Everything you want right now, you can get the Voice of College Football Alabama at the Voice of College Football merch on the link, using that link. So make sure y'all go check that out, man. Definitely a time to be alive when you see the Voice of College Football merch out of and about among these streets representing that Crimson Tide, man. Jackson, what you getting first, brother?
Oh, I'm thinking about getting that little coffee mug, or better yet, I think I need one of those sweatshirts, or better yet, a T-shirt.
Or better
I don't know
yet,
what I'm getting.
better yet, just get it all, big dog. You got it, big dog. Look, just get it all. Bama Nation, come and pick it up here at the Voice of College Football, Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate y'all for tapping in and showing love. Go check out that merch. Take advantage of it. This is a time to be alive. Y'all check it out. We also got Florida State too. Voice of College Football got every team that's represented under the umbrella of Voice of College Football. Again, we got Florida State merch, as we have Matthew, one of the representatives of Voice of College Football for Florida State. Florida State at the Voice of College Football. Man, we got some energy tonight, man. I see y'all popping up in the chat. Coffee mug to crack on your head from depression after this beatdown. Oh, Lord Jesus. The GOAT is in the chat ready to get some action. Hey, so what else we got for him, Jackson?
Oh, man. Well, it's game week time. It's game week. It's finally here. It is finally here.
Hey,
man.
Hey, look, calm down, Jackson. Chill, bro. Chill. Matthew, what's up? It's game week, man. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, man. Look, we spent all summer, doing the recruiting stuff, and who's going to flip and who's going to do all that. And now we can get to the brass tacks. Now the season's here. Now we can get the real talk going on. There's no more recruiting. It's 2025 season. It's time to put the pads on and see what's good.
100%, man. 100%. I'm with that energy. So tonight, y'all, we're going to get into a couple of topics here on the coast, here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football. See, I be live too much. I be in front of this camera too much. But we're going to get into some topics tonight, and we're going to really dive into the depth chart for both sides of the ball. Some key spots that I think both fan bases that need to be aware of coming into this. And mind you, while we don't have a script, so this will be straight, unbiased, realistic takes. We want you all to dive into the conversation of football around it, and we're going to do it in a timely manner. So we appreciate y'all for jumping in. But before we carry on, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way in. Make sure you subscribe to the channels, both the Alabama side and the Florida State channel. I know we have both links being provided in the chat. Jackson, I know you got that already handled. So make sure you're subscribed to both channels. And leading up into this week, man, you definitely want to follow the creators on screen. You will get our content and how to follow us and our lead ups and breakdowns of what's coming up here in this weekend for week 1 of college football kickoff. So jumping into it, man. Let's start. We're here at Bama. Let's go ahead and be proper guests. Give us a synopsis of what this Florida State team, what we should expect from this Florida State team as from an identity standpoint, Matthew, from your perspective.
Well, from my perspective, is I think people have to remember that this is a whole new staff on both sides. So there's a lot of unknown. I think under Tony White, I think there's going to be a lot of physicality with the way he runs his defense. Now, offensively, I think Gus Malzahn was one of the biggest hires that we made with his background, having so many high-powered offenses. Of course, bringing in Tommy Castellanos is a quarterback that fits, more of his style. Being able to not only throw the ball but use, his legs and stuff like that. So, I think we're going to be good offensively. I think we're going to try to establish the run because we need to. Last year we were so bad running the football. We were last in the conference. One of the worst rushing teams in the country, to be honest with you. But a lot of that had to do also with all the combinations on the offensive line. We had a lot of injuries, so I think we're going to be good offensively. I think the defense will probably maybe take a little longer to come along. I have more trust in the offense at first, but I think we're going to be probably a attack down the field type of offense. I just don't know how they're going to look running wise. That's my big concern is what's the running game going to look like, because it doesn't matter, how many weapons you have on the outside. You're not going to be able to sling the ball around, for 12 games in the season. You're going to have to establish the run a little bit. And with them having 4 new starters on the offensive line, they're all 4 of the 5 stars on the offensive line are transfers. So, that's going to be, how these guys are going to gel. So none of that's going to matter if they can't establish some sense of a running game. So I think they're going to rely more on the passing game. That's kind of how I see the offense.
100%, man. Good breakdown. So I look at it from the outside looking in. Like you said, so many factors to consider, so many unknowns. A lot of people have looked at it from looking at Alabama's breakdown this offseason, and the main question you have is who is QB1. That's a big question to have, right? You take that and you flip it to Florida State, and you have the same question. Who is QB1? Thomas Castellanos comes in. He's going to be starting as the QB, but is he the guy? Is he the one that's going to be able to adjust to Gus Malzahn's system? Who, as an offensive coordinator, we've seen him thrive in using athletic dual threat style quarterbacks, regardless of their arm talent. I think you saw Castellanos lose the job at Boston College. It was Boston College previously, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You saw him kind of lose the job because of his inability to be consistent on the intermediate and the deep ball. That's something that we know Gus Malzahn loves to do. He's a big play perimeter style, whether it's extending the run game to the perimeter, making a lateral, or getting your guys out in quick screen actions. All of those RPO aspects, he's going to want to see that. And for Castellanos to kind of fits his wheelhouse. So I think it's going to be interesting early with what we see as far as identity with Florida State's offense. Now your defense, a lot of names that kind of have got hidden over the years, popping up on that Florida State defense as guys that are presumably starters. One that we're familiar with, Earl Little Jr.
Right.
Your nickel corner rover, whatever you want to call that position now. The secondary is going to be up for the task, I believe, early. I think there'll be a lot of one-on-ones that kind of stand out, but I want to see how long it lasts. I think Alabama, with the depth that we have at wide receiver, is going to really test your top 6, your top 7 defensive backs in their rotation. And we know that 3-3-5 is heavily reliant on run support from the secondary. How physical will Florida State come out? Because that was an issue for them last week. So we have sort of the same kind of thoughts when it comes to what this team is struggling with. Now, let's flip the script. Oh, go ahead. You have something else?
Yeah. See, me, like, when I look at the defense against Alabama's offense, that's where I get really concerned, because I don't want it to be a situation where, let me phrase that. I don't want it to be, but it's likely to be. how that defensive line goes up against Alabama's offensive line. I don't. They cannot have a game where they just get blown off the ball for 4 quarters, because if Alabama gets to establish the run and then we start being honest with that, then you guys are just gonna kill us with the pass. So it really starts up front, man. The 3-3-5 is different. It's a different look, different responsibility. It's not traditional. The idea of the 3-3-5 is to cause chaos. That's
Yeah.
what Tony White's system is to cause confusion. So it's going to be, how can they gel together? Can they get enough confusion where they can disrupt this offense a little bit? Because if you guys establish the run early, you got to, consistently moving the change. I think it's going to be a long day for us. And there's going to be a situation where our offense is going to have to get in the shootout, and you don't want that to be the situation the first time out. Especially against a team like Alabama. So that's my one concern, is how is the defense going to hold up, especially up front? Because if y'all are blowing us off the ball there, I don't think we're gonna have much of a chance.
100%. Jackson, from a fan perspective, when you look at the identity of Alabama, where is the advantage when we come into this matchup against Florida State? Do you see it from a fan perspective, being an Alabama supporter, covering the team in the measures that you do? What do you see being the overall advantage for Alabama when it comes to Alabama's offense versus Florida State's defense?
Well, that passing core, that's going to be rocking and rolling. The receiving core, where you're going to be having Ryan Williams, and you're going to be having Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton, and the X factor, Brody Dalton. You're going to see a lot of the X factor himself on Saturday. And, Florida State, they're just like getting new staff in there. It's not a good way. It's quite an introduction for them.
Yeah,
Especially for that new staff. They're going against the Crimson Tide. That's the only way to go for Florida State is up in their case, but Alabama, it's gonna be a good day for Saturday.
you can sit it right here. So honestly,
all ready for getting the win, huh?
I like the
that.
matchup.
Like
I'm gonna say it like this, Matthew, and I've been saying this
But
all week.
I'll make sure not to count the chickens for their hatch.
There you go.
I like the matchup though. I like the matchup overall. When you look at it from a schematic standpoint, Tony White's system is 3-3-5 generally is what you're going to set up to you want to have in your arsenal base package wise when you're talking about defending the vertical passing scheme. Like you look at the vertical concepts that Ryan Grubb and Penix and that group thrive with at Washington. Most teams weren't able to keep up because they didn't have personnel to go 40, 50 plays with 6 DBs on the field, or take your 5 DBs on the field with your true cover linebacker, basically is what you're looking at. And you're looking for a run support in that. And Ryan Grubb will lean on the run. So I think the difference in this game right now, the advantage is up front. Florida State, they're going to have 3 defensive linemen. They're very talented. Yet to really blossom though. We're not gonna just give names credit. I think you got to really do something consistently to really make it known that you're dominant, talented, of course, but not dominant enough to go against the experience that they're going to have to go up against on the Alabama offensive line front. And I think Caden Proctor, Geno Vandermark, Cam Dewberry, the transfer from Texas A&M, Parker Brailsford, the first center to come off the board projected in the 2026 draft. You got, Jaden Roberts, who was ruled out earlier today, but then we get reports early, a few minutes before the show, that he's listed as questionable for trying to be available for this game this Saturday. And then Wilkin Formby, who came in as a highly touted 4-star, I think 4-star in the class of 2022, I believe it was 2022. I believe that him and Caden Proctor came in together, but he's coming into that stage where you kind of see offensive linemen finally get it in their junior year. Same thing with Caden Proctor, who's a 3-year starter. So a lot of experience, new pieces trying to mesh together on that defensive front. I think Tony White has his work cut out for him going against an experienced play caller like Ryan Grubb with all of these weapons, just starting at the offensive line. We talked about wide receivers, we talked about the offensive line, but you got another weapon that I think is about to really showcase his debut, showcase his skill set in his debut, and that's Ty Simpson. But that's just the phase of it. So I think that's pretty solid outlooks on both sides of the ball. We didn't really touch on Alabama's defense because I want to talk about it in a certain way. What's your thoughts, man? And we're swinging this back to Florida State since we will be in Tallahassee this Saturday. Give me your thoughts on Thomas Castellon. Tommy, I keep calling him man Thomas.
Yeah,
I gotta
Tommy.
stop
Yeah,
doing that.
goes
Give,
by Tommy. Yeah.
give me your thoughts on kind of his approach to the media and how he's handling the media when it comes to this game, but then also from a schematic standpoint, where does you see him really creating some problems, not just for Alabama, but for college football as a starting quarterback under Gus Malzahn in that offense?
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as the way he's handling the media, I loved it. I mean, when you got a quarterback, you want your quarterback to be confident. He's the one that's going to lead you into battle. You don't want, any, kind of, any kind of, shaking confidence there. So I like the confidence that he has. Um, as far as schematically, I mean, of course, he can use his legs. That's valuable, but he's the type of guy that he's like you said, he's going to have to be more consistent with some of those other areas, like intermediate throws, timing and things like that, because he has he has arm talent. He has he can do some things, but I just think that they don't need to rely heavily on his legs though.
Right.
That's the only thing about it, because he has shown the tendency to get injured too. That's one of my fallbacks is when he get injured. But I just think with his ability to run, that'll kind of make teams honest, and that'll give him a chance to kind of attack down the field a little bit, because we have really good weapons on offense. We got Javon Boggs coming in, the freshman, who's probably gonna be in the slot. He has um, a lot of things. Or Squirrel White, Deuce Robinson. Those are going to be your three starters, but we haven't seen them play though. We haven't seen them play here, and also they're coming into a new system. So we're going to have to rely heavily on our passing game. I feel like, especially in this game, because I think this is kind of the wrong game to try to like establish the trenches against Bama in the first week. So I think it's going to be a situation where he's going to have to show us what he can do arm talent wise against Bama, and that kind of scares me a little bit. But I think that's kind of where he is. But I just think if he can get to where he can get these intermediate throws down, get better with his timing, better with his decision making, and not turn the ball over and not lose a game for us, I think we'll be in good shape.
100%. I want to touch on something real quick. You said something that was key, and I think this is what Kane Womack wants to live with when he plays against defenses, opposing offenses this season, and where the offense has to rely on the passing game. The pass rushing talent that Alabama has in the front, that front four, that front five, however you want to look at it based off of alignment, the pass rushing talent and the depth of it is probably some of the best in the country. And this is just going off just the defensive linemen and the edge rushers ratings coming out of high school in their respective classes. You're talking about 9 out of the 11 guys you're going to see in that front three rotation were top 15 guys at their position in their recruiting class. So this is like a talented group that's finally getting into a stage of development. We've seen Kane Womack's systems be as far as defensive efficiency stats. We've seen his defenses at the Power 5 level consistently be in the top 20. That's at South Alabama. That's at Indiana. Every stop where he's been the primary play caller, we've seen his defenses be in that top, 20, ranking 25 rankings, no matter what level. With the assets he has available in Alabama, especially in the secondary, I think that's where everybody's really going to see the speed of this team defense from our secondary, the run support, the quality of open field tackling, where guys like Squirrel White at Tennessee was very shifty in open field, get him the ball in open field, get it to him quick, he can do damage. I think you're going to see a difference because of the understanding of that Alabama secondary and what they're kind of keying on. This is a different front. And I think you said something earlier, with all of the senior graduate transfers that came in to fill the voids on that offensive line, getting 4 guys from 4 different systems to be on the same page week one. I don't care if you had 30 practices before live game action. And it happens. It's going to. I believe Castellanos, his athleticism is going to allow them to get a quick score, maybe early in the first, maybe the second drive, their second offensive drive, I could see them getting something going at some point and breaking the play. But the adjustment off of that, I feel like that's where Alabama has the advantage. The defensive line, the experience and the veteran leadership up front, the linebacker core from the inside linebacker group, Nakai Hill-Green, who led Colorado in tackles and tackles for losses last year for Colorado. He's a part of this inside linebacker core. Deontay Lawson was projected second round draft pick before his injury last season. Came back to kind of prove himself. Justin Jefferson is there. A lot of young talent on the edge. I just think it's a lot for a week one matchup with all of the movement that's happened, especially at that offensive line. So I'm really leaning towards the defensive front to disrupt what Castellanos has to do and struggles with already, and that's being efficient in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, like the one good thing about the starters is, I mean, you do have like over 100 starts and like I think it's like 3 or 4 thousand snaps, collegiate snaps, among them, which is good. Like you said, so many different systems, and now you're all coming to try to learn something new that you like that none of y'all have done yet. So that is a lot to ask when you go against the Alabama front that is athletic, is strong, is big. They can do multiple things. So it's not the ideal test for your first game, but in the kind of ways it is, because it's like, wouldn't you rather go against the best first to see where you're at, to kind of gauge where you're at for the rest of the year? Because after we play Alabama, we have
A measure
I don't
stick.
we have a measure stick. Then we have some games to really get things on track before we play Miami, which is our fifth game. So yeah, man, it's a lot to ask Florida State on both sides, to
Right.
go against a team like this to kick off the season. But I mean, I'm from the old school. I've been watching football since the early '90s. Is look, you don't worry about who it is. You play whoever you play. You play them when you
Yep.
play them, whether you're full strength or not. At the end of the day, you got to put on pads and play. And we've all watched football, and we see upsets happen. Teams
Right.
win games they're not supposed to win, and lose games they're not supposed to lose all the time. So that's kind of where Florida State's at.
100%. 100%. Jackson, anything to follow up on that before we transition to some X factors that we want to kind of look out for when we look at these rosters and the depth charts?
Nothing from me. I think we've got a lot of it covered.
That's what's up, man. So when I look at Florida State's roster, some names that I kind of key on, and that we're going to just kind of jump around the roster. Doesn't matter which side. And I'll look at it from Alabama's perspective. You do the same for Florida State's perspective. One name that stands out to me from Florida State's roster is Omen Usamra, the running back, transfer running back. I think he came
Usman
from
Cromer.
Usman Chroma. Okay, him.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know he's listed as like your second string rotational guy, but I think he's the one that if push comes to shove, the physicality that you need Florida State to kind of have an opportunity to establish, that's the back that I would lean on and kind of pull some of that pressure off of Castellanos. If you can get him to break a couple 7 to 10 yarder big gash plays for that level of production with that offensive line, I think that's an X factor that Alabama has to worry about schematically, because Gus Malzahn, we look at where he's had success at. He's always used a trio of backs, and you'll see those backs. You have like the second lead receiver on the team is the running back, and I think he has all those skill sets in his running back room right now. Another name that's not being spoken of as much of as it was last year during that season is Lucas, number 12. I think
Lucas. Yep.
Yes, him. I see Gus Malzahn using him in a lot of jet action, a lot of orbit motion. Just somebody that gets the ball in space and can do some
jet
crazy
sweeps
things.
and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so I think that's what your dark horse is what's the young man's name? Usam Kromar?
Yeah, Usman Cromer, the freshman.
Okay, yeah, he's one that I want to see kind of just blossom. Being in that second, that RB2B, RB2A role, whichever one it is, that's going to get probably like 15 to 20% of the carries in the design carries. I think he's going to be able to blossom in a game like this, because Alabama's that front is going to be hard to block straight up. It's going to be hard to scheme with a lot of the aggressive stunts that's going to be thrown at Castellanos and that front. The run game, tough run, is going to be key to getting some type of a dent and making Alabama get on their heels a little bit defensively.
Yeah, and speaking of stunts, kind of taking it to the defense side of ball with us, I think we're going to have to do a lot of stunts and run a lot of zone blitzes and stuff like that against Bama. Because we're I mean, let's just be honest. I'm a Florida State fan, but there is a talent discrepancy there a little bit. Bama has the talent advantage, so we're straight up, we're not going to be able to do it. We're going to have to do pull out a lot of our tools. It's going to be a lot of stunts, like zone blitz and stuff like that. Because if not, I think Bama's just going to have a field day offensive. Now, as far as X factors, I do agree with those. I think one in this game that could possibly make things life harder for y'all if he does have a big game is Darrell Jackson, our nose tackle. Like if he can be disruptive in the middle of that line, get some pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, force some third and longs. Also with James Williams playing on the edge, our transfer from Nebraska, I think we can do some things. I think he's gonna have to be key. Well, really all year, but this is a big year for him. Now he's looked at as like the man on the interior of our defensive line. Now that Joshua Farmer's gone, so Darrell Jackson for this game, because I think the trenches are so important when we play against y'all. We're really any team, but definitely this game. Darrell Jackson, to me, I got a big spotlight on him for this first game. If he can come out and really get busy, I think we could slow y'all down a little bit. Because if y'all get to a situation where y'all just can constantly run the ball and moving the chains, I mean, not only our offense is not going to get the ball too much. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, he's a big X factor for me. I want to see him play well.
I was going to speak on the defensive front. James,
James Williams.
the edge, defensive end. I think our goal is going to be to attack him early. I seen a lot of highlight plays in this film, but I seen a lot of inconsistencies too. And I think with Ryan Grubb back, there are going to be keys that Nick Sheridan didn't see last year in opposing defenses that had athletic pieces. Instead of trying to attack those directly, attack those indirectly, pull them off of their keys, pull them off of what they do strong to support something else, and then expose them there. Now you got their minds wondering what's coming at them. Don't just go and attack it first. Don't let the opposition's best defense be your first option to attack every time. And I think that's the play call balance that we're going to see from Ryan Grubb this season. But looking at that edge rush, we know that Caden Proctor did not have the best, past 2 years against some of your first round talent coming off the edge. I think that's going to be a key matchup to watch. Williams, flipping sides against Formby, against Proctor being on the edge there. I think that's going to be a key matchup. Now, I do say this with the reports and the things that I've seen at practice with Ty Simpson. I don't want Florida State to underestimate this young man's ability to get loose outside of the pocket. Ty Simpson can definitely hurt you with his legs, and if Florida State wants to force him to do that, he will gladly do that. He will gladly pull a Jalen Miro versus LSU type of night and take off with the rock. But the thing is also, he's the type that is very much more accurate on the run when he's throwing the ball. So you see a lot of those big plays that go for quick pass drop or dump offs that go for big yards because they're scramble drills. And I think that's where Florida State is going to have to prove himself in the secondary. I look at guys like Earl Little. There's a lot of plays you see I seen his father post those practice clips when he first left Bama. Yeah, a lot of those plays you locking up early in play, but when it's continuous, you're giving up on plays. So let's see if that's the mentality that Tony White was speaking on when he was coming at his defense. Guys got to play the right way. Not necessarily knowing the playbook, but how are we finishing plays? How are we doing things? Those are the different things that I think Alabama's going to have an edge up in when it's past the schematics, when it's like execution. We've seen them go through that wave under Kalen DeBoer. We've seen the coaching adjustments made, at certain times that weren't right. I think this year coming in with the continuity of the staff, the veteran presence on both sides of the ball, you're looking at a tough early game, but I think this is one of those things where the Jimmies and the Joes start to show up in the second half, early in the second half. And that's why I think your secondary, the lack of snaps or veteran snaps on that side starts to show up. The lack of depth on your defensive front starts to show up. And it starts to get kind of out of hand from there. But like you said, an early loss, you played Bama tough for 47 minutes. And that last 11 and a half minutes, they beat Bama. You kind of look at that as a good spot. And I'm not counting my eggs. Like I said, I'm not counting my eggs before
I know what you're saying.
But this is one of those games
Yeah.
where you expect Alabama to be the team that's more prepared and ready to execute a game plan. Whether that game plan is enough to win or not, whatever they set out to do, you expect Alabama to be able to do it because of what they have bringing back. You don't expect that from Florida State. You expect a few hiccups. You expect a few false starts on big plays or, trying to run hurry up under Miles arm. Like, you expect these things to happen, and you can't have those big things happen against a team like Alabama.
Yeah, and see, and when I was on the show a few months ago with Jackson, and we were talking about this matchup, and I still feel this way now. I think this game's gonna go one or two ways. Either Bama's gonna come out and they're gonna be Bama and just steamroll it, and it's gonna be kind of by the first quarter, it's like, yeah, this is gonna be kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Or I think it's gonna be a situation where it's the first game of the year. There's a lot of unknown. Bama's on the road. We somehow get a turnover on the first drive, the crowd's rocking, and next thing you know, you look up and it's the fourth quarter and it's 24-20 Bama, and they got the ball and it's 3rd and 12 on their own side of the field and the crowd's rocking. So now you got a situation where it's either Bama's going to win big, or it's going to be a situation where it's going to be a tight game all the way to the fourth quarter. More than likely, Bama pulls it out, or maybe Florida State wins on the last second field goal or something like that. I just think that's the only two ways that's probably going to go. I'm hoping the game is close either way, because even if Florida State loses, I want Castellanos in some positions where he's got to make third down throws. Like it's 3rd and 8. The Renegade's not doing anything. Now you got to drop back and pass. You got to make those timing throws. You got to go through your reads and make the right decisions. I think that's going to help him a lot. I want him to get in those situations quite a bit in this game, because that's going to tell me a lot. When we end up playing the Clemsons and the Miamis and later on down, the end of year floor and stuff like that. I want him to get in some tight situations now. And who better to have that than to do it against Bama in the first game? So that's just the way I've always seen this matchup. We're coming off a better year. It'll be a little bit more confident, but the talent disparity is there. The cohesiveness that y'all have in y'all staff, there's an advantage there. Like I said, we have both new staffs on both sides of the ball, so we're implementing new things on both sides. So it's just a tough matchup. But I mean, for somebody like me, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Why not? Play against Bama in the first week. So, like I said, I just really hope that he gets in some situations where he has to show that he can throw, because we know he's athletic, we know he can use his legs, and we know he can. He has some arm talent, but certain things he has to be better at. Precision timing. You know what I'm saying? Ball placement. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. He needs to be better at. So
layer in that vertical.
Yes.
Like the way you're going to have to beat Bama in the passing game, you're going to have to beat them over top, because
yes,
you have to, especially when you have the way that we hug the box. It's some looks that I've seen from last year's scheme. It'll look like a 3-3-5, and you'll see the two inside linebackers walk inside and bump both the tackle and the nose, bump them over to the outside technique, and you see this stunt. You see inside stunt, and you flash your outside linebacker or your edge, that drop him into the flats. And you've seen that so many times. And to have continuity like that against Castellanos, against Malzahn, who's going to want his quarterback to be able to literally that RPO is like, the way the RPO is ran nowadays, I truly give guys like Malzahn in the early 2000s credit for creating that style of offense. And you're going to give an athletic quarterback like Castellanos opportunities to be out. Like you said, Deuce Robinson is a guy you can throw it up for 50-50 balls. He's going to make contested catches. Squirrely White is the guy you want to get in the quick screens in the jet sweeps. He's going to be out. He could give you the vertical stretches. You get a matchup with him. He did it to Alabama 2 years ago. So I see opportunities early, like you said, for this to be an interesting, exciting first week 1 game. But I truly just don't see the expertise on the defensive side for Alabama. Just defensive. I think the offense is going to do what the offense does. This is an offensive scheme that has just proven itself at multiple stops with multiple skill sets. You're talking about at Washington that first year when they went from being a 4-7 team or 4-8 team, something like that, and then they turn around and win 10 games. Or no, they went from 4-8 at Fresno to 6-6, and then they won 10 games. And then you go to Washington, they had just won 2 games the season before. He shows up, wins 10 games the first season, and goes 14-1. Loses in the national championship to Michigan. So you've seen the system, the same offensive scheme, the same play calling style, just kind of transcend, utilize skill sets and assets available on roster. You talk about talented rosters. I think you can agree. You're a Florida State fan. You have some talent on your roster, but when it comes to talent, most talented rosters on paper, Alabama's definitely in your top 4 or top 5 in the country.
Always, yeah.
And it's been like that for years. So when you give new ideas and attractive styles of play to athletic kids who are developing in a system, those are dangerous organizations. Those are dangerous programs. That's why you see Ohio State perform the way they did last season. They went and got pieces that were like, man, if we can just get this guy, to fit what's already working, it rolled over, and they recruiting same skill set. So you see that at Alabama. I think that's where you see the separation. And like you said, I truly believe it's going to be like late into the second quarter before you see like the separation between Alabama and Florida State. Either way, too. I think right now, with all of the confidence I have, I feel like football can be football, and it can go left for Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to what I said, I mean, I think that's the best hope for Florida State is just that it is week 1, and teams haven't played any games yet. You can practice all you want to. You can do all the, our ones against their ones and all that. It's different when you play against another team. Yeah. So yeah, and Doak Campbell, we just renovated it. It's sold out. The crowd can be jumping. It's a big nationally televised game. So you kind of hope maybe some jitters set in. Maybe you guys make some mistakes early. I just think that's the only way they're going to be able to keep up. It's going to have to be a big third down stop here, a turnover here, a play action, 60-yard bomb touchdown here to kind of get the mojo going, because there's just a lot of unknown with us, and Bama has a lot that they already do know. You know what I'm saying? So that's tough to go against your first games, even if you are at home. But man, me being a Noah, we're here now. I mean, I'm calling for the upset, 28-24 Noah.
I was just about to say, let's get some score predictions. I was going to build up to it, but you kind of just knocked it out the park.
We'll definitely be going over more on that, on Primetime Live tomorrow. So it's like I'm kind of saving it up a little bit for the audience. As I always say, leave everybody wanting for more.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my prediction too. I think this is an interesting game, and I have to do my breakdown again. I did a nice Twitter post last week, but I really think this game starts off kind of explosive. And I made a change. I think it starts off explosive as far as big plays being made, offensive wise, defense kind of making big plays or whatever. But Alabama makes big plays, but is not able to score the touchdown the first 2 drives. Florida State's not moving the ball very much. They made a big play, first down here and there, but they're not making them plays. They're not able to sustain drives. Second quarter score is 6-0. Florida State finally scores on a botched play. Brown covers. Up 7-6 on Bama. Bama comes back, boom, knocks him in the mouth. Thomas Castellanos comes out, second drive of the second quarter, throws his first interception of the game. And I think that's what really happens in these games, man. Guys like Castellanos start getting too big in the game. They get ahead of themselves, and they don't trust the process. And I don't think there's enough continuity there for him to really lean into his teammates yet. He didn't showcase those qualities at his previous stop. I would love for it to happen this season. I feel like he's a great athlete, but I don't think it's happening against Alabama and the type of pressure. I got Alabama pulling away late second quarter with the run game. Daniel Hill, Richard Young, really catalyst. Ty Simpson utilizing his legs to extend the pocket on a few plays in the second quarter. Third quarter coming out separated. Alabama 48, Florida State 17.
Whew. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you think about it, we could score 21 in the first half, man. And that third quarter is like, if you score 21 in a quarter, and I feel like that's what's going to happen in the second quarter, you're going to see like a change of momentum. And you get 21 in a quarter, man. Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, they don't take their foot off the gas, man. And when they rotate, it's not changing the play call, and we're going to play it till to the walk down time, and the walk down time for them is 2 minutes. So
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Keelan Russell gets in with a 3-possession lead and we see a drive or two from the true freshman phenom. So yeah, 48-17 Bama.
Well, hopefully, for the sake of my fan base, which Lord have mercy, know they drive me crazy. That's not the case. Because trust me, if that happens, the sky will fall on FSU Twitter. Believe that. They will want Norville gone. We're gonna go 2-10 again. The world's ending. I hope that doesn't happen. I
I
hope. I
don't.
hope. I hope. I hope we at least keep it competitive. Because more than likely it's gonna be a tough game to win. But I just want to show some fight, man. I just. I mean, even if it's a situation where, let's say you guys win, 35-20, but it's 28-20 late in the fourth quarter, and we get
Yeah,
a stop.
yeah,
We get a stop, and we're driving to try to tie, and then maybe we get stopped on downs or something like that. See, that
yeah,
would give me confidence going into the next week. Like, that's a double-digit loss you can still kind of hang your hat on. But if it's the start of fourth quarter and it's 41-10, then it's, what I'm saying?
yeah. And
I
I
don't want that
think
to be the case.
the 48-17 is more so like a 31-17 start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
31 type, you know what I'm saying? 2
yeah.
possessions. If y'all got the ball, y'all go and score, get points on the board. It's still competitive.
Mhm.
With score being 31-20 if it gets a field goal maybe minimum. But I think right there is where you see that separation we've been talking about, man. And that's no disrespect to Florida State and their roster, what they bring to it
Just
from a
honest
coaching
ball
staff.
talk, man.
Just is literally like the game of football is the game of football at the end of the day, and X's and O's matter when you, especially when you can utilize them, and you got the Jimmys and Joes, man. You really got the perfect mix. It's all about not fumbling in on each side, and I think Ty Simpson is more than ready to lead this offense. So many weapons around, and we didn't really dive into it. I think we'll be talking about it a little bit more tomorrow, but the weapons around, Ty Simpson, the new starting quarterback, compared to what's coming back for Castellanos, who he has no continuity with. You got Ty
Yep.
Simpson playing with all the guys he practiced with last season. Literally Rico Scott, Jalen Mbakwe, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Bubba Hampton, Cole Adams, got Jalen Hill. I say he had to practice with and practice scout team reps, all these things he's been doing over these past 2 years. He has some of that continuity carrying over for him. And then it's a scheme that he's literally tailor made for. So I like where we're sitting at coming into this game. I don't think the confidence level for the fan base is too much this season. I think a lot of our fan base is being realistic. And I think they're hearing the thoughts of, hey, you got Tony White, who's bred disciplined defense, not necessarily dominant. I say disciplined defenses. When you could add discipline to some athleticism, which is what Florida State has, if you can get that on that side, you can see a better production. Does it happen in week one? Not likely. The players got to learn. You got 17s and 23-year-olds. They got to learn. They got to learn. So, like I said, Alabama for the dub. And I think we set up for a good week of conversation as we continue to break down some of the schematics of things going forward. Jackson, do we got anything else lined up? Because are you coming on tomorrow too, Matthew?
No, I won't be on tomorrow. 'Cause I actually gotta jump off here in a second because I also write about the Cowboys, and NFL starting up too. We got a lot going on with us right now. A lot of unnecessary stuff that I don't want to be talking about. But
I love Jerry
yeah.
Jones, man. Jerry Jones. If where's Jerry Jones go, man? The NFL gonna be boring as hell.
Matthew, you and my buddy Austin, y'all will definitely be bonding over the fact that you're huge Cowboys fans and the fact that like Jerry Jones is a complete disaster.
Well, see, the thing about Jerry Jones is we all love Jerry Jones, the owner. Jerry Jones, the owner, is fine. He's the greatest owner in the history of sports. I mean, you're talking about a guy who bought a team for 140 million and flipped it to almost 13 billion. So, and your job as an owner is to run a successful business. So he's the greatest at that. He's just the worst general manager in the world. That's the only thing. He's the ultimate extreme on both ends. You're the greatest at this, and you're the worst at that. So, I don't know if y'all watched the documentary on Netflix, but I hate that it was so good because it was very well done. I mean, it was excellently done. You get a greater appreciation for the owner, but it just makes you shake your head at the general manager. You just listen to some of the stuff he still says to this day. Like he was at training camp a couple years ago with the one of the Rams coaches. He said, "Oh yeah, I would never put all that on the quarterback. You'll never worry about me doing that. I'm like, but dude, they won the Super Bowl. What does it matter? So what if you're in Cap Hill for a year or two? You won the chip. Do it. Like, it's not hard. But yeah, being a Cowboys fan, dealing with that guy is rough.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a good one, man. Well, tell everybody over here where they can find you, man. As we get ready to close this thing down, brother.
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter at Star Conscience. That's STAR. If you don't know how to spell conscious, it's just the words con and science put together. That's that's the easy way to remember. At Star Conscience on Twitter. You can find my work from Blogging the Boys on there at FSU Wire, and also a little bit of Longhorns Wire too. I haven't written for them, in a little bit, but I do some Texas Longhorn stuff too. So yeah, come check me out on Twitter.
For sure, bro. For sure, man. Appreciate you for doing that, man. Y'all make sure y'all go show our brothers some love, man. Also one of the representatives over at Florida State at the Voice of College Football. So it was good talking a little football with you, man. We definitely gonna have to connect, man. You be on that Instagram.
Oh yeah, for sure. You mean the game?
Video game, yeah.
Man, I haven't. The thing about it, I haven't had a game system in a couple of years because I've been just so focused on getting my career going. But from what I hear, the new college one is really good. I'm actually wanting to get back on it because I actually heard that the new Madden. I don't know if you played Madden, but I think they said Madden this year is even better than the one last year too. So.
Yeah, they talking good about Madden. So I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
I need you to find me a Florida State user to play for our live game sim.
I got you. Man. Oh, matter of fact, hold on. Florida State fan. I think I might have one for you because he always on the stick. Matter of fact, yeah, we definitely gonna hook up about that. He's always posting his little game tag and games he plays. So I got the perfect opponent for you, as a matter of fact. Perfect. All right.
Yep. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hey, I appreciate you for tapping in, man. And
absolutely,
we not gonna hold you up any longer, man. Hey, y'all give it up for our guy Matt, man, over there representing Florida State. What was that score prediction again before you get out of here, bro?
Hey, man, this is definitely heart over head. It's you understand. I'm starting from the floor 2-10, bro. You know what I'm saying? I gotta reach to get out. I got a long way to go. So I'm just going on first game jitters. Florida State somehow pulls out 28-24 victory.
Hey, I respect it, man. Hey, we all got dreams, all right? It's about
dreams and nightmares, huh?
All right, man. Take care, man. Appreciate you for coming up, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Man. Thank you.
All right, y'all give it up for our guy Matt, man, checking in with the Alabama at the Voice of College Football, Jackson. Hey, that was good vibe. That was good vibes there, man. Talk some realistic football. Got some confidence, and I like the fact that regardless of the national media and what everybody thinks, he actually was talking some good football. And Florida State, they actually run a 3-3-5, as a matter of fact. So if Coach Burks wants to get a little lesson on or a little refresher on how the 3-3-5 looks and how it's ran, Coach.
Well, before we get to all
what's up, Coach Burks? How you feeling in the chat, man?
Oh man, so we got some shopping to do because even though it's not Christmas, apparently some stores decided it's close to Christmas. So I don't know what I'm gonna get, but maybe the doppelganger of Mark Rogers can tell us what to do.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
The Voice of College Football. Make sure y'all use that link, man. Get y'all little discounts and all that good stuff. Save some money. Christmas time coming up, Thanksgiving, all them holidays coming up. Better save some money. Support the content while you do so. Jackson, it's been a night, man. Another one.
There we go. Yeah.
Another one. And it's
Oh,
kickoff
yeah.
week, man. And it's
I
kickoff
know
week.
it. Oh, man. Well, you got some highlights there in somewhere. Like, I see where you got number 20 in there.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
the from practice the other day, man. This is just the B-roll from practice the other day. Kind of just this was kind of like the last look of what's going to be available going into practice week, man. We kind of reported on Jaden Roberts, you know, his update on his injury, how he's went from out to being questionable, and now you look at you know, we know on the Jam Miller situation, he won't be available till the Georgia game. That's when he'll be cleared. Uh, Jalen Hale, man, been reports he's just looking stronger and stronger day by day with coming off the knee injury. I like where Alabama sits right now coming into this week. If we can just get through a healthy week, get through this pregame walkthroughs and all the little stuff without some minor stuff happening, I think Alabama is in good position to really run away with this game. Like I said, my score prediction, I'm sticking with it. 48-17, and I'm giving Florida State 17 points out of respect for the fact I do believe they had some mismatch issues for our defense, like most defenses will. It's all about how many times we can minimize them capitalizing on those opportunities and limiting those opportunities. And I think that's going to result in Coach Womack really dialing it up on the pressure side of things, especially when they're dropping back to pass, not giving them a clean pocket ever. This D line is depth is deep in its rotation, and I think the more you utilize it, the deeper you get in that rotation, the better it's going to be for the production overall for the defense. But we'll dive into all that tomorrow, Jackson. Hey, you know what to do, man. Tell the people where they can find you at, bro.
Well, they can find me at Jackson Johnson 979 on my personal YouTube, and where I'm 316 subs away from that magic number, 1,000. And they can check me out on Jackson VOCFB on X/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908, where I've got my latest updates on Alabama with the Voice College Football and on the Jack signing and much, much more on what I've got going on in my world.
My guy Jackson, and y'all already know where you can find me at Coach Smook on every platform, any social media platform. You can go check me out at Coach Smook, where you will find all of your Alabama content, your high school recruiting coverage, your interactive coverage of sports across the nation. We're expanding. The network is expanding. We're networking. We're growing. We're taking over the state of Alabama when it comes to cover recruiting. And next, we got Georgia. Next is Florida. Next is Texas. We're going for them all. So support. But when it comes to your Alabama Crimson Tide coverage, you know I got the Smook Scoop for you. They're on the Coach Smook Network. But make sure you're subscribed over here at the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. This is where you're going to get all your informative coverage covering this year's team, breakdowns, interactive coverage with other panelists from other teams of our opponents, and much more. Thank you all for tapping in tonight, y'all. And don't forget to go check out the merch store, too. We got the merch up here for the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. The Voice of College Football as a whole has the merch store up. You can go get your Alabama gear on our website. It is up now. Make sure y'all go check that out. And don't forget, before you leave from out of here, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And make sure you tell somebody that you love them. All right? Make sure you tell somebody that you love them today. And with that being said, to all of our Bama family in the chat, roll, Tide, roll.
Roll, Tide, roll.
4 more days in the wake up, man. 4 more days in the wake up, man. 4 more days in the wake up. Come on, man.
Like, comment, subscribe, click on notifications so you never miss another video or another episode from Alabama with the Voice of College Football. And we will be seeing you soon. Roll Tide, everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And before we go, make sure if y'all are up here at 8 p.m., we will be live on the Coach Smook Network doing our call-in show tonight. Late night call-in show, talking Alabama football, talking college football on the Coach Smook Network. Y'all tap in on that side too. And we're going to get some ramped up conversations ready for Tuesday night here on Alabama Primetime Live on the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Make sure y'all tap in, man. Y'all be easy, be blessed. Take care, and roll, Tide, roll. Oh.